Hello, my name is Sergey. I'm from Immunotechnology, and today we're going to talk about our use case in analysis of brand switching that we made for a pharmaceutical company. And let me start with introduction of Immunotechnology. Immunotechnology focused on data analysis, but in context of explainable and transparent AI, which is based on strong ethical foundations. And we haven't started doing it yesterday. We've doing it for almost 5 years already. And our target is to build scalable and trustworthy AI solutions in agile manner. Let us start with introduction of the problem. Often companies want to prevent their customers from switching from one product to a competitor product. And in this particular case, we're interested in healthcare professionals who might switch from one drug to another. And we wanted to allocate existing sales and marketing resources towards retaining the user base and prevent the switchers by positioning our product better in the market and getting more benefits per action that's been taken. There are certain requirements of how solutions should look like. First of all, healthcare is a very regulated area, a very regulated sector where compliance is of primary importance. That's why we use transparent methods such as general additive models with pairwise interactions known as GA to M, combined with Shapley techniques to explain solutions and look under the hood to figure out why they made certain predictions. Based on these transparent models, we were able to introduce so-called marginal effect tables that can give you efficiency of an action per unit. This can be used to optimize your resources in an optional manner. For example, if you look at the plot here, we see that there is a certain dependency between drug prescription recency and the number of days that's passed. For example, a user might have a general, we just assume certain numbers here, just an example of how it resembled what actually we saw in the study. For example, basic probability of switching to another product might be 60%. But if you see that prescription recently is around 0, it drops by 0.2 by 20%. And it's going back in around 30 days. This plot gives us an idea that a lifetime of an action is around 30 days and its efficiency is approximately 20%. And this plot, you should interpret it as like effect of a single action or a single feature that we fed into the model. Sometimes, however, it's not possible to use such a transparent white models. For example, when accuracy of a white model is very low, then we use so-called gray models, such as XGBoost or Random Forest. Why are they gray? Because they're not really transparent per se, but there is a number of techniques that allows us to look into their decisions and reason why they made certain decisions. For example, here you see a Shapley plot and you see a number of features that affect the outcome. For example, loyalty reward programs. We see that if there is a high value of a loyalty rewards, so a lot of effort put into it, we see that it's more likely that there are going to be no brand switching, that the user stays with our product. For example, we see here that with high, which corresponds to red value right here in the loyalty reward, it's drop of approximately 30%, which means that techniques such as loyalty programs that help patients to stay on track, that provide discounts, help, guidance, they're effective if high enough effort been put into of up to 30%. This is a valuable insight for the analytics team to work upon. Furthermore, we can use partial dependency plots as a technique also to look into the hood of Random Forest or of SVM, XGBoost, to look at what is the dependency between marginal impact of one particular feature across all values of this feature on the outcome, on the sales. For example, right here we see impact on the sales of a share of a product, of a drug that's been sold by this company, and this is into certain administrative unit where it's been prescribed. And you see there is already a very interesting insight right here that can be extracted from this plot. For example, we see that there are a number of segments, like where the share of the product is below 6%. You see it's right here. And we see that in this area, it's a negative impact on the sales. What it means is that maybe, and we talk to experts and they kind of provide insights from domain experts on what is the interpretation behind it. And they would say yes, but probably because in this area, in this particular hospitals or administrative units, there is a certain law or a guideline from the ministry to actually always prescribe generics unless there is a very, very strong reason not to do so, or even first prescribe generic and then figure out if it's a bad decision. You see that it must be certain effect here. Also, we see that if shares are very high, that it makes no difference, like between 15% and 20% or above, its effect is negligible. This means that if the percent is so high, they're already well aware of our product, so they don't need extra action. So there is a sweet spot between 6 and let's say 10% where we should target and put our effort. Yeah, what do we get out of it? So we get a so-called marginal table, which shows us impact of a single feature across certain segments. For example, we see that this is number of calls that we make per week or per day by marketing department, and there are two segments, and there are returns. What if you make 0 calls and you go to 1 call? How much extra benefit you have? Or if you go from 1 call to this segment to 2. So, and we see that, for example, here, if you make 10 calls to segment number 1, which means 5 and 5, we get 65 as a return, plus 25 in the second segment. But once we build this table, we can re-optimize the resources and make 5 calls to the first and second call to the second. And then you see the calculation right here that shows that according to our calculation and marginal table, we can get extra 10 units of increase in sale by using exactly the same resources. So this is a form of optimization problem where we use the same resources to get higher benefits for the company using data analysis in a very transparent manner. So what is the outcome? We learned why people switch from one brand to another. What are the insights there? We can identify who is the most likely to switch, and there are certain actionable insights, like you can put an effort there, or you can redistribute resources to better position your product and increase sales and retain your customers. So what was the business impact? Certain things we can identify as not actionable, and we can focus on actionable, such as patient support programs, how much effort should go, how much sales we can get on top of it, how much more benefit, how can we better position the product, for example, using this BioShare example in one of the plots that we saw. And as a result, we get a more optimal company that gets better performance per action. For example, a higher average return per call, which results in a higher sales. And last but not least, there is also a lesson in how can we work better in this environment. And what we found is very important to iterate between exploration and exploitation, between short-term results and long-term results. Short terms might be insights or analytics for the domain experts, such as doctors, and long terms is building a durable product that's useful for the company in the long run, that can be repeatable, which results we can trust. If we run the same model in maybe 1 month or 2 months, in 1 year, we get the consistent results. And this can be integrated into agile manner. For example, by devoting certain time at the beginning to get insights and to use second part of the sprint to build the product for the longer term. And that's it. I thank you for your attention, and I will be welcoming any question that might come. Thank you. Bye.